Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another chat with Castles, Capes, and Clones. We talk about anything that is Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, the Muppets, 20th Century, National Geographic, Disney Plus, ABC, Hulu. If it's about Disney, we are talking about it. So if you like that kind of content, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Let us know in the audience if you are in the chat and by leaving a comment so we know you're there. We'd love to say hello to you, and we love to make this interactive when we can. But in the meantime, I am here as always with my cousin and co-pilot, cousin Rich.
Hello.
Oh, there they are. We're reversed, Rich, cousin Rich.
Are we? Should I
There's
move it?
Allie and Pete. Yes, Allie and Pete said we've thrown them off.
Do I? Is this like evil Captain Kirk and evil Spock?
Yes, exactly.
Are we in the Mirrorverse? Here, let's see if that.
There. Is that more comfy? We aim to make our
Yeah.
audience comfy. Comfy.
Nope.
We aim to make what the heck our audience comfy. my phone decided to copy what I was saying. All
Nice.
right, how are you, cousin Rich?
I'm good. You know,
Yeah,
Memorial Day weekend is cool. It was all right.
yeah.
Um, saw the Little Mermaid with our niece. It was her first. It was
Hmm.
her first movie experience. So
I love it. I love it.
excited. She was excited. She danced through like all the songs. Sometimes we had to like wrangle her because she was going up and down the
The
aisle.
stairs.
But her mom also did that when she was a lucky little kid.
Oh, I remember. I remember this.
Yeah,
Her mom was always a one that liked to run into the aisles.
yeah. But she had a good time. So hopefully, I
Yeah.
think we might try when Elemental comes out to bring her.
Oh, good. Yeah, and that's going to be shorter too.
Yeah,
So, and it's probably got more colors and things like that. So, yeah. So, what did you think of Little Mermaid?
I liked it a lot. It was
Yeah,
better than I thought it would be. Only because like all the live action stuff that I've seen was like, all right, yeah.
yeah.
Um, and I never really had any inclination to watch any of them again after seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I think when it comes out on like Disney Plus, I'll watch again. I really
Yeah.
liked like the changes, the subtle changes they made, and stuff like that. I really liked the cast of this one. So
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was well cast. Um, and I just love Halle Bailey. I love her, and I really love Melissa McCarthy as Ursula.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. When she was cast, I think I was just like, huh. Like like sometimes she can be a little over the top
Yeah.
with the comedy and stuff, but she's forever to me Sookie from Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's how I know her. And then all the comedy stuff, like she's been listed a little bit, but she did well. I really liked her Ursula. So
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote a. I mean, wrote a review. I recorded a review.
yeah,
So if anybody wants to check that out, it's on our channel, along with another review that I did of it's combined a small light, which is a National Geographic, about it's an incredible story. I did not know about Meep Geis. it's he was the secretary of Otto Frank, the father of the Frank family, and Frank's father.
Mm.
He asked her to help him hide, and she did it without hesitation. And she like endangered her life for 2 years, um, trying to keep them safe and get them food and all this stuff. And then when the Nazis ended up finding them, she preserved the diary of Anne Frank and gave
Mm.
it to her father once the war was over. But another thing that I didn't know was they were captured after D-Day. So
Mm.
the war was like
Already over.
over, but the Nazis were kind of stepping it up in certain regions, trying to like hold on to whatever they had. And so that's the tragedy. I mean, that's a tragedy that they were caught after the war technically
Right.
was over. You know what I mean? So that I mean, a small light. I highly recommend that. And then American Born Chinese, so good. It's
Mm.
so good. It's got like every Chinese American actor out there except for Ming Na Wen for some reason. She better be in the second season because you know I'm hoping that there will be a second season. But it's so good. It's like got martial arts. It's got your coming of age story. It's got comedy. It's got like all the stuff that is so it's just so good. So check out that review as well.
Nice.
All right, well, let's get into the news. Today will be a pretty short. Um, there wasn't a lot of news basically, so it will be pretty short. So just and if you have any questions or concerns, let us know. But first, we just want to pay our respects to Tina Turner's family and friends, I should say. Um, we, you know, we hope that she rests in peace. She didn't have a vast Disney portfolio, but
Right.
she did perform the fan favorite song, Great Spirits from Brother Bear. And I know I played that song when, I heard that she passed away. It's just so sad. She looked fantastic, even toward the end of her life. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I she was a big part of, for me, the 80s,
yeah,
right? Um,
definitely.
yeah.
And she had that just such a signature sound. That's the thing. Is like I always talk about. I'm always looking for somebody that has a sound that is just so unique. Like
Yeah.
where are the Stevie Nicks and the Chers and the Tina Turners of this generation?
I mean,
I mean, I know that
yeah.
they're out there. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, but I'm just saying that I just felt like it used to be that everybody just had such a unique voice.
I,
So,
I mean, um, there's always going to be the iconic kind of uh, stars out there that just
yeah,
rise above everyone else. Um, and the thing about today, I mean, if you look at like the thing about today, there's saturation, like oversaturation. Like anyone with a camera and a whatever can be a star, right?
true.
Back in her day, it was like had to be discovered, or you had to like the pool wasn't that great,
Yeah.
and so only like the best acts got to rise to that stardom.
Hmm.
Whereas now, all you need is a YouTube channel, Or I'm sorry, all you need is a TikTok account.
That's true, though. I mean, but that's a good thing as well, because people are being able to live their dreams, and that's all you can ask for.
Right.
All right, moving on. The Little Mermaid box office. So it made 118 million over the 4-day weekend. 96 million was of the first 3 days. And additionally, 68 million came in from overseas. The film's budget was 250 million, so it's got a while to go and has to keep up the audience in order for it to make money on the film. But and there's a major competitor opening up this weekend that I cannot wait for. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Right.
But the audiences are different. I mean, the people who go to a Spider-Man film might not necessarily be the people who go to Little Mermaid, and vice versa. So anyway, it was deemed a success by exhibitors.
Right. Rightly so.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of good word of mouth.
yeah,
Most things I've seen have been very positive about it.
hmm
So hopefully,
definitely. All right, moving on. Thomas Kail, who directed the Disney Plus feature of Hamilton, has signed on to direct Moana, which is expected to start shooting in fall in Hawaii. So he did a great job with Hamilton, and
yeah.
he works with Lin Manuel Miranda, who obviously produces the music for. He wrote the music for Moana along with a couple other people whose names are escaping me right now. So I think that he's in a good position. It's a good choice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Whether or not they start in the fall, that's up in the air.
Yeah. I mean, because of the writers.
Well,
Um,
I like to rephrase because of the studios.
because of the studios.
Don't blame the writers, blame the studios.
Oh, right. Yes, yes.
So
I meant the writers' strike.
I know, but I like to phrase it more like because it like puts blame on the right. Like there's like almost like there's blame. It's the writer's fault, but
Mhm.
it's the studios not compensating the writers
Yeah.
issue.
Um. Okay. Moving on. Sorry, I'm trying to. This is,
Loren's forehead.
I know we're here to see my forehead. My dog is trying to. Oh my god! She decided that she wants to not have any bones. She was saying pet me," so I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Everybody,
She's rarely seen. Poppins,
Poppins.
say hello, everybody, to Poppins. Okay, so next we have Kizazi Moto. I'm really excited for this. Kizazi Moto Generation Fire. It's going to hit Disney Plus on July 5th. And we had heard about this at D23
Mm-hmm.
that they would be doing a project with African um, creators and things like that. And they made the announcement. Yes, she is my sweet baby. Um, they made the announcement at on Africa Day, and they are going to be featuring stories by creators hailing from Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. And it promises to take viewers on an unforgettable ride into Africa's future, presenting visions of the continent never before seen. And the 10 films are Stardust from Egypt, Mizuki the Spirit Racer from South Africa, Hatima from South Africa, Inaki from Kenya, Moremi from Nigeria, Surf Sangoma from South Africa, Mukudze from Zimbabwe, First Totem Problems from South Africa, Herder Boy from Uganda, and You Give Me Heart from South Africa. So I have no idea what those titles mean, but it sounds amazing. And they've just got African stars from all over the continent. Um, so yeah, there's like I'm just very excited for this project to see it come to life. And I really love that Disney is doing all of these projects that are so, diversity focused, um, like with American Born Chinese. And then you have this project here. And it's like really, just really cool. And the styles look amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd throw in, if you haven't watched it, season 2 of Star Wars Visions is amazing.
Yes, it looks. Again, I'm surprised we haven't talked about it. But it looks similar to that. Like this, all these different styles.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and like with this one, telling stories, like African stories. Um,
Hmm.
I hope there's I hope they do these with other cultures as well. Like the
Hmm.
Visions is cool because it's studios from all around the world and their own take on Star Wars, and they do inject a lot of their culture into them.
Yeah.
Um, but it's cool also just to have like not Star Warsy stories as well. You know, you can dive into the culture and understand a little bit better. You know, through all kinds of art, and animation is art.
Yep. It certainly is. Okay, so Pixar has released the check this out clip. They just also released another clip that I hadn't been able to watch before this started, but they literally just released it. But the this out clip is really cute. It's like basically both Ember and Wade kind of show off their abilities, their elemental abilities, and it's just I think delightful.
Nice. Yeah, I've been to the point where I avoid the closer things get to release dates, I stop watching stuff.
Yeah, I can't help myself. I
I know.
really honestly can't help myself. All right, on to just a couple pieces of Disney news, Disney parks news, I should say. Disneyland. Um, it's the last day of Splash Mountain there, and anywhere except for Tokyo. Tokyo gets to keep Splash Mountain.
Okay.
Um, and anyway, the wait times were crazy. They said that they surpassed 3 hours, and cast members were continuously adding queue lines, and they were telling people that the the estimate was actually wrong, that it would be longer because it was packed. And just randomly, I saw one video of a woman woman who posted, this girl just walked off of Splash Mountain, which I'm sure also helped shut down the ride for a while because anytime anybody does something like that, they have to reboot the ride and do a whole, like, what is it, like 2 cycles they have
Wait,
to
what
go
happened?
around. This girl just walked off of Splash Mountain, and
What do you mean by
I
walked off of Splash Mountain?
like she got off of the boat and she walked down these stairs, and this woman is like, "What are you doing?" The one who
What the?
filmed her, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Oh
So
man, yeah, that definitely added at least another hour.
yeah, it had to. And they said that at rope drop, I mean, people were like, you could tell there was a whole crowd wanting to go through Adventureland, you know. And yes, Indiana Jones is, definitely a destination, but it hasn't gotten that kind of crowd in a while. So those were definitely
Mm,
Splash Mountain people.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it's sad, but I'm looking forward to Tiana's Showboat Jubilee. No, Tiana's, what is it?
Bayou Adventure.
Bayou Adventure or something. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the the math. What do you call it? The overlay of French Market to
Oh,
Tiana's Palace.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like I've seen pictures, and yeah, that the problem with also with Splash Mountain, that area, it's a bottleneck.
Hmm.
So adding a whole bunch of people there, just it's. I mean, luckily, it's kind of in an area, but actually, probably not. Luckily, it's in an area where there's only one in and one out because there's no throughput. There's no like past Splash Mountain, you get Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Then there's a dead end. You have to turn around. So one hand, it's kind of off on its own little segment, but like people getting through, there's nowhere to go.
Hmm.
So I'm as much as I like Splash Mountain, I'm not a big fan of water rides anymore. Only because I don't like being wet at the park anymore.
Yeah.
So I haven't been on the ride for a very long time.
I
Probably next
haven't.
time I
I
go would
wanted
be
to go on it, but
yeah.
the last time I was there was February, and February was, it's too cold to
I mean,
ride.
it was cold today. It's not warm here.
Yeah.
It's gloomy and whatnot. So anyone going on that ride today, it was cold.
Yeah.
And there's no sun. There's no sun today at all.
Wow.
So yay. I just wonder how long it's going to take to actually get Tiana's Bayou Adventure up and running.
Yeah, I can't remember what they, if
Yeah, I
they
can't
gave an
remember.
estimate, or, but I would imagine that they would want to get it up sooner rather than later.
Right.
So,
Like it's different than like the Guardians
hmm,
ride from Tower of Terror. They just kind of
right.
added stuff on, but like this is like all the animatronics need to change. There's major out even though it's retaining the structure
Hmm.
from the art we've seen, there's a lot of stuff they need to add to the outside of it as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, I'll ride it definitely when it comes out, but it's not a ride I would go on multiple times because I just
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll probably, unless they fix that part where your shoe gets really wet. That's a
mm,
part I don't mind, like my face and my hair or even my shirt, but it's my shoe. I don't like my shoes getting wet. So that's
right,
my, just because you can always change your shirt and you can always like dry your hair off or whatever, but
right.
you can't, like, unless you bring a new pair of shoes. But this, I saw a picture of this one guy who had kind of made boots out of plastic bag and put
Oh,
it over his,
like little
and I was like,
booties.
oh, that's a smart idea.
Just get some like gallon size Ziploc bags with some rubber bands.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Disneyland Paris. As we know, the cast members have been striking, and they did strike again in the parks again today. They're continuing to seek pay increase, more flexible hour work schedules, and improved benefits. And there was photos and videos of them in front of the castle today. They were going around the Central Plaza area,
Hmm.
and then in Avengers Campus. There were a lot of people in the strike, like it's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I hope that they get what they want, because those all seem like things that should happen, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a specific Disney thing, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of like, especially like older folks who are just like, you know, like they complain that the like younger generations are just complaining to complain, but really it's more
Yeah.
like, and it's kind of how we were brought up is like things are the way things are, just do whatever, and
Yeah.
people just realizing that doesn't need to be that way. There are
Yeah.
people who are like heads of corporations that are making millions upon millions of dollars above what their employees do. And
Hmm.
let's be honest, like a lot of them don't do anything. They're just
Yeah.
higher ups, right? It's all on the backs of their employees. And if they
Hmm.
can't pay their employees a living wage, and you're here jet setting, with multiple millions of dollars coming in for apps doing the bare minimum, probably of work,
Right.
um, I think people are just, it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it
And
does
people are
not.
not to take it. Like, you know what? This is, even though this is how it is, doesn't mean that's how it should say.
Right.
So, more power to you.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on to Lucasfilm. So this is a kind of take it with a grain of salt, maybe rumor or maybe true. But according to One Take News, Tamora Morrison, who, as we know, played Jango Fett, uh, like all of the clone troopers in the clone trooper, or well, it was his likeness. And then Boba Fett recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to return in the upcoming Ahsoka series as Captain Rex, who's a clone commander, who's a prominent part of shows like Rebels and Clone Wars. And I hope, I hope this is a true story because it would make sense to me because he
Yeah.
was such a big part of her story.
Mm-hmm.
Like even into the Rebels, he was, you know, at her request, joined the rebels to rebel.
How eloquent.
I know,
Um,
right?
yeah, he's such a big, like, honestly, the Clone Wars animated show to me is really the Ahsoka and clones story.
Mm-hmm.
And Rex being the most prominent clone.
Yeah.
Um, you know, this is basically Anakin Skywalker's other, right hand man. Like, if Ahsoka is his like partner, so is Rex. Rex is such
Mm-hmm.
an integral part of that team, more so than Obi-Wan, I think, at that point. Because at that point, Obi-Wan was his teacher as a kid. Now
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's more like brother. but he's got his own kind of army and stuff that he's general for. Whereas, a lot of the focus on the show was Anakin and the 501st, the blue
Mm-hmm.
decorated clone troopers with Rex out in the forefront, and then carries on into Bad Batch, and then also in Rebels, and that he's almost been retrofit into Return of the Jedi
Mm-hmm.
as one of the Endor rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope that if he's in it, that Tamara Morrison can capture what was done in Clone Wars, because he's got such a Dee Bradley Baker, who voices all the clones,
Mm-hmm.
had to voice hundreds of clones, and he gave them all, even though it's the same voice, gave them all
Yeah.
personalities.
Right.
And Rex is there's a very distinct personality he has versus, say, Commander Cody,
Mm-hmm.
any of the Bad Batch, obviously, but like there's such a there's a bit of both Ahsoka and Anakin in
Yeah.
Captain Rex. So I hope it's true. I do. Like, we've seen him play a clone trooper in Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
We played Boba Fett, obviously. He's got a big, strong tie to Star Wars, so I just don't know if it's going to be a big role if he's in it. But I do hope he appears somewhat in the show.
Yeah.
We get an update on Captain Rex.
Yeah. So we're going to keep an eye on that story. All right, now moving on to. I wish that people could see this. She is passed out.
Nice.
All right, we're going to move on to Marvel news. First, reactions to Across the Spider Verse are out. This movie is coming out on Thursday or Friday, whichever way you like to look at it. And
Right.
the social media embargo was lifted, and so have been posting their thoughts. And basically, the kind of critical consensus is it's the best Spider-Man film ever made, which I don't doubt, because the first one I thought was the best Spider-Man ever film ever made, and
Agreed.
it's made by the same people. So who knows? I don't know. I have to see it to believe it, but at the same time, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you seeing it? Are you seeing it Thursday or Friday?
I told Olivia
Or
she's
weekend?
taking me on Thursday, whether she likes it or not.
We're watching it Friday because
Yeah.
Thursday is my dad's birthday. So
Oh, happy birthday, Uncle Oscar. Yeah. So I'm just very excited for this film.
yeah, it looks so like Spider-Man. Like, for me, Spider-Man has always been one of my top heroes,
Mm-hmm.
and the first into the Spider-Verse was so amazing, and everything I've seen of this looks amazing. But I just
Yeah.
want to say, like, even in the realm of video games, like the new they have a trailer out for the new
Characters.
Spider-Man 2 video game coming out.
Yeah.
And like the storyline, I think is going to be amazing because it's Miles, but it's also Peter Parker, and Peter Parker has a symbiote suit.
Wow.
This is pre-Venom, right? And I think he's like, it's almost like I feel like Peter Parker is going to be the bad guy, or at least
Ooh.
the end game of that video game, because it hints so much that the suit is affecting Peter Parker, which it did.
Right.
And I think what's going to happen is at some point Miles is going to have to talk some sense into Peter Parker, and that they're going to fight. and then eventually both of them will fight probably the symbiote suit, and
That
then
makes
Venom,
sense.
and
Yeah.
Venom happens.
And
But
then
it's so
Venom
good.
happens.
Like this the Spider-Man video game itself is so
Mhm.
good. So this also looks amazing. So like everything Spider-Man, keep it
I
up,
love,
Marvel.
yeah. I saw a clip where they introduced Spider Woman, like Jessica Drew, but not the one that we grew up with, but a
Right.
different kind. And she's like on a motorcycle, pregnant,
Yeah.
and Spider Gwen is just kind of crushing on her, and I just thought that is fun. I'm just looking forward to seeing all the different spiders.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
I hate spiders.
yes.
But
But
yeah,
spider people are okay.
yeah. I am like I love the cast of the first one, and I'm really curious to see how like Oscar Isaac
Yeah,
does as Spider-Man. I don't know what
2099.
2099 is that what he
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I am this week, so looking forward to it.
Yep. All right. Well, Patty Lapone, who we know is just a fountain of knowledge. She probably is the the biggest um, spoiler giver or whatever leaker
Right.
there is at Marvel these days because she's Patty Lapone and nobody stops Patty Lapone. Um, well, she's confirmed that Disney Plus, Agatha Coven of Chaos, which she's in, is going to be 9 episodes long. I
Makes
mean,
sense.
that's not a big
Yeah,
leak because, that's about how long I
that's
think
how many.
WandaVision was, wasn't it?
I
It
think
was
so.
8 or 9. I can't
It's 8 or
remember.
9. Usually these things
Yeah.
are like 8 or 9 for the most
Yeah.
part. Um, yeah, it
So,
makes sense. Also, the cast of I just remember the cast of Skeleton Crew also kind of confirmed that it's 9 episodes.
oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
9 is the magic number, kids.
It is. It is. That's about as long as I like a series to be these days, because it's just so hard to binge 22 episodes, you know what I mean? And it's so
It
hard for me
is.
to binge 10 episodes. But 9 episodes, 8 episodes, there we go.
Well, yeah. But that is also a point of contention for our next story.
Yeah. So the next story is that Marvel Studios is now officially delayed both Thunderbolts and Wonder Man. So they had already, let the universe know that Blade was being delayed,
Mhm.
but now the Thunderbolts and Wonder Man are put on hold because of the studios, as Richard likes to say. Um,
Put the blame where it needs to.
yeah, I mean it's a writer's strike because it is their strike, but against the studios, and it's up to them
Yeah,
to make things right. You know,
yeah.
there's a
And part of
lot
that
of things that,
is the fact that shows now are no longer 22 episodes long.
yeah,
So the writing process for a lot of projects is shorter than
yeah,
before. Uh, and a lot of it, and then a lot of it is streaming, and streaming was never like they haven't really pinpointed like how to compensate for those kind of things. Um, but
right,
the companies were making millions off of streaming, so
yeah. The streaming, the I get it. 22 episodes. I don't think, unless it's network television, it's ever going to go back to 22 episodes.
No, definitely
Because I
not.
don't think that anybody, like people don't like 22 episode uh, um, seasons. That's what I'm looking for.
I mean, it's a
Uh,
different world now because of
yeah,
streaming. Back before streaming, it little means because networks had to fill their time,
yeah,
um, and whatnot. So there was production and things came out weekly, and it wasn't
right,
any way to binge them. Even when they went into reruns, there was no way to binge them.
yeah,
So it was more a product of we have so many months to fill
hmm,
at this time slot. So it needs to be this show. It needs to be 22 weeks or
yeah,
22 episodes of whatever. And that, does strain the writer's room because you need to fill 22 hours of content. So that's where the whole this is a filler episode.
right,
It's an episode that's we all know, like all watching all the old kind of series. There's really amazing episodes of stuff like X Files, amazing episodes, but then there's episodes where you're like, this they were pushing on this one, trying to figure out what to do.
yeah,
Um, and nowadays we don't have that. The problem is nowadays everything's kind of instant. Like people binge. People want to watch things when they want. So it's no longer a studio's need to fill in 3-4 months of airtime.
right. Well, and there's
So
just no sensitive. Like, take for instance when Marvel had the Netflix shows, and they were 13 episodes, and that was long because, and you could tell they fit in filler episodes,
yeah,
and it's just like with network television, they fit in these filler episodes that it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Let's
yeah.
just
There's
make
only
it
so many episodes that we can watch waiting for the Purple Man to do something.
right. And nowadays, there's just so many series. Like before, it used to be just network television,
Yep.
and now it's like there's so much. I can't even keep up with the ones that are 8 and 10 episode ones.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's like so much stuff out there and so many different streaming platforms out there.
definitely.
Yeah. So that is to say that the writers still are the backbone of this industry.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
mean, without writers, we'd have no stories.
yeah. And
So
honestly, like the whole AI thing, it's not really artificial intelligence. All it is a complex algorithm to take what exists uh, and and manipulate it enough where it's original and in a coherent way based on the data from stuff that came before it. So
yeah,
AI is not creating things. This will be clear. AI
no,
is just rehashing old stuff that has been fed in a different way that I guess they can call it original at that point. So
right.
there's never going to be like I doubt AI could have written Luke I am or I am your
I'm
father,
your father. Yeah,
right? And all these things because it wasn't a thing before. Like that's why I'm like, there's AI is good for some things, but like
right,
creative process, like full on creating something
right. Or
and
like when to
replacing,
put in Avengers Assemble. I mean,
yeah,
we waited like how many films? 4 films.
yeah, because AI doesn't have heart,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is. AI doesn't feel things. That's where
Right.
the artists come from their emotions, and AI does not have emotions. It
Mm-hmm.
just has numbers, literally ones and zeros,
Yeah.
just a ton of data about ones and zeros that they can create something that is a rehash of old stuff
Mm.
in an interesting way. But I
Yeah.
really hope they put something in contracts that negates how much AI could
Right.
do with an actor, with a writer,
Yeah.
because we're going to be worse off for it if it's AI, everything AI driven.
Oh,
Is going to be worse
there'll be
off.
no originality and no heart.
Yeah. If you haven't, like, if you're on Twitter, I think she did it. Justine Bateman wrote
Uh,
a bunch of tweets that explain exactly what can happen with AI.
yeah.
And she doesn't explain it in a way like this could happen, like this is going to happen, which is why it's
Mhm.
very important for both the writers and actors and directors, all the guilds really, you know, jump on this before it gets out of hand. You know, I don't think they jumped enough on streaming in the beginning, which is why we're in the position we are in now. But they really
Right.
need to jump on AI because it's here, and it's scary what they can do with AI.
Yeah.
And what we know, studios don't learn lessons well. They
Hmm.
just follow whatever money is. And with the TikTok world, unfortunately, like the TikTok audience will buy whatever. So that's to say,
Who knew
don't
Mallory
use AI.
Keaton was so wise?
She is like, it's a really good. If you find it, like, I think it's on Twitter,
I've
but it's
heard about it.
really
I've
good.
heard about it, but I haven't had a chance to look.
Yeah,
I'll look
it's
for it.
it's really good. Like, because she was part. I think she was part of the definitely Actors Guild.
Mm.
Um, but I think she was also in the Writers Guild.
Yeah.
And she held a position, I think she said. So,
Yeah.
and oddly enough, like, she's also, I guess she also is a computer
Nerd.
something. No, like, I guess she also went, I guess she also went back to school and learned computers,
Good for her.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mallory.
Oh, Mallory. All right. All right. Well, we like we said, it's a short show this week. Do you have any other things you and you can say goodbye to everybody?
No, I don't think
Look
so.
at this. Wah, wah, wah.
No Poppins.
Poppins, you have to say goodbye to Allie and Pete. Say bye bye, Allie and Pete. Bye bye. All right.
All right.
Okay,
Nice.
so I'm sorry. Do you have anything that you have to say?
No, it's. I will, like, the only thing I have to say is, like, June, like, starting this week.
Mhm.
I have so many. I bought so many tickets on Fandango.
No, you were
Uh,
saying.
just for this month. Like, outside of uh, Indiana Jones, Spider Man, Elemental. Um, there's also the Flash.
Hmm.
Um,
When does Barbie come out?
I
That's
don't know,
one
but that
thing.
also looks good. Weirdly
It
enough,
looks so good.
like,
It
I
looks
like
so
the
good.
take, because I was like, what are they doing with the Barbie? But I like the
Yeah,
take that they're doing. And I love the tagline where it's like, if you love Barbie, this movie is for
right.
you. If you hate Barbie, this movie is for you.
Yeah.
I thought that
I
was so good.
well, I really like Greta Gerwig. I think that she does some good stuff, and so
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to her take. Margot Robbie looks fantastic as Barbie, and
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling as Ken, and Simu Liu as Ken, and
Yeah,
everybody's a
all the
Barbie, everybody's a Ken,
yeah.
except for what's his name? Uh, what's his name? Sarah. What's his first name?
Who?
Something Sarah. Peter
Michael
Sarah?
Michael
Michael
Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah,
Oh,
he's Alan.
oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
I'm hoping it does well, because it's another. It's like, excuse me. It's, I don't know, like, original is the word, but, like, it's different.
mm,
You know what I mean? They could have just made a movie about blonde model person
yeah,
and called it Barbie, but they're really playing on the fact that she's a doll.
yeah.
And like I love that whole meta thing where it's like Mattel is involved in the story.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's gonna be
Kind of
so
like
fun.
the Lego movie. Like it was something I didn't expect,
Yeah.
and I
You
really
just
liked it. There's a little bit of a meta thing about it too.
yeah, it's like they poke fun of at themselves. That's
Exactly.
always a good time.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us, meaning Allie and Pete. Uh, or if you're watching this in replay. And if you are watching this in replay and you aren't subscribed to our channel, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post, as it really does help us out. Visit us on all of our socials down below, and visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you later. Bye.
Yep. Catch you on the flip side.